The pregnant widow stayed at the motel for one night, but never checked out. This sounds impossible, but I swear every detail I'm about to share truly happened in a desolate motel along Route 66 in New Mexico during the summer of 2018. Before I continue this true supernatural account, subscribe to hear the full story that forever changed my understanding of life, death, and all the realms that blur between them. The shadows flickered in the corners of that cheap motel room, moving as if alive, while whispers tugged at the edges of my sanity, calling my unborn child's name in a gentle yet haunting lullaby. The air grew thick and heavy around me, binding me in its grip, carrying with it the mixed sense of burnt sage and something too decayed to identify, as if the very room itself bore witness to regret and lingering sorrow. An icy chill gripped my spine, and I shivered as unseen hands brushed against my arms, delicate yet insistent. I stood terrified, 6 months pregnant and alone, with only the echoes of grief from losing my husband in a tragic accident resonating through my mind. The weight of despair loomed over me, intertwining with the impending life that grew within. In that room, the entity watching over me didn't just want my attention. It desperately stretched forth its icy fingers to wrench my child from me, leaving marks on my belly as if it were claiming a part of my soul. The silence that filled the room was punctuated only by the creaking of floorboards beneath the weight of unseen eyes, pressing against my skin. As I clutched my belly protectively, my heart raced with the instinct to shield my child from whatever specter lurked in the dark. I felt cold tendrils of air wrap around me, chilling me to my core. Was I merely a vessel now, a target for whatever ancient sorrow hung over this place? Suddenly, I froze, feeling the unmistakable sensation of something cold and ephemeral brush against my stomach, a stark contrast to the warmth of my child stirring within. Even in that moment of dread, I longed to protect my baby from whatever malevolent force prowled the corners of the motel room. As I reflected on stories I had dismissed as mere folklore, memories of my grandmother's warnings echoed in my mind. She had spoken of spirits that lingered, souls caught between realms, seeking something they could never possess. "You can't have my child," I whispered fiercely into the darkness, my declaration of defiance growing stronger as I imagined my family's legacy of resilience coursing through me. Gathering what remained of my resolve, I took a step toward the presence that haunted me. "What do you want?" I shouted into the murky shadows, my voice tremulous yet firm. The shadows in the corners coalesced, condensing into a formless mass that pulsed with raw energy, flickering with flashes of light that only deepened the intensity of my fear. My pulse raced, and I could feel the blood rushing in my ears, drowning out the echoes of my thoughts. The air thickened with urgency, revealing a chaotic symphony of cold whispers that curled through the room, weaving their way into my very being. It was as if they were trying to tell me something I desperately needed to understand. The shadows felt alive, swirling and moving, becoming a tapestry made of desperate desires and aching sorrows. With each revelation, a compelling sense of purpose began to wash over me, illuminating the reasons behind this encounter and resolving within me the need to understand the forces at play. Then, amid the swirling maelstrom of the unknown, a sudden silence enveloped me. And in that deep, profound stillness, I realized the gravity of what was unfolding. This wasn't merely a confrontation with the unknown. It was a chance to unravel the mysteries that bound us together across the thin veil separating the living from the dead. It dawned on me that what haunted that motel room might not simply be a threat. No, this neglected room, littered with dust and despair, might harbor the echoes of tragedy seeking closure, perhaps even a warning for a mother about the precious life she carried. The shadows that had seemed threatening now felt like a tangled web of compassion and sorrow, pleading with me to listen closely. "This isn't just about you," I breathed, understanding that the presence had its own story to share, begging for someone to heed its message. This grim location perhaps harbored lost souls, caught in a limbo, hoping to convey truths lost to time, a desperate plea intertwined with their anguish. And just like that, I knew I couldn't run from the shadows any longer. I had to face the darkness that beckoned me, for the sake of my child and my past. Keeping my heart steady, I took a deep breath, bracing myself for whatever lay ahead. With that, I prepared to understand the truths that had lingered far too long in the dark corners of despair. I stood at the threshold of fear and understanding, my heart pounding like a drum in the deafening silence. The very air around me crackled with unspoken words, each whisper creeping in as if testing my resolve. "What do you want?" I shouted into the darkness, demanding clarity amidst the unsettling atmosphere. The shadows coalesced even more, forming an amorphous shape, pulsating with energy that felt both inviting and threatening. Suddenly, I was gripped by pure maternal dread. It washed over me like a frigid wave, gripping my stomach and tightening around my throat. Had that presence in the dark come not to communicate, but to claim what was mine? The thought sent shards of panic spiraling through my veins, and I instinctively wrapped my arms around my belly, cradling the life within me. I refused to let anything touch my child. With wide eyes, I scanned the dim corners of the room, my senses heightened. There, just at the fringe of vision, I caught two luminous eyes glimmering in the darkness, observing me silently. The air grew colder, the tension thick enough to cut, and I felt a low current of dread vibrating through the floorboards beneath my feet. What was I dealing with? A guardian or a predator? "Why do you linger?" I questioned, my voice steady despite the quaking in my heart. It wasn't just an inquiry, it was a promise that I would not yield without understanding. The shadows shifted, vibrating in response to my demand. I could sense whispers melding into a singular voice, a soft, sorrowful cry tinged with desperation. Its message was muddled but clear enough to grasp. Suddenly, images flickered in my mind as chaos unleashed itself in the form of vivid memories. I saw the horrible twist of fate that had taken my husband from me, the finality of his passing crashing down like a thunderclap, forever altering the course of our lives. I felt the weight of that moment wrap around me like a suffocating shroud, constricting the breath from my lungs. It hit me then. It wasn't merely grief that tangled with the shadows in this room. It was loss that demanded acknowledgement, urging me to confront not just the specter before me, but the deep chasm of my own sorrow. "You're trying to warn me," I whispered, piecing together the cryptic signs. "You want me to listen." The shadows seemed to vibrate as if nodding in agreement, and as I turned inward, a single truth emerged from the haze of grief. "If you're a mother once lost, I see you." Echoes of despair coursed through my veins, as though the burden of the spirit intertwined with that of my own. I understood. It wasn't just a plea for help, but a bond forged in shared heartache. As I stood rooted in revelation, a change swept through the room. Suddenly, the shadows flickered backward as a gust of icy wind circulated, a jolt that sent my hair whipping around my face. The sense of danger heightened, and I braced myself, knowing that the urgency pressed against me like an impending storm. "Show me!" I shouted, feeling the power of my words ripple through the silence, and immediately the temperature plummeted. My breath left visible clouds against the darkness. Whatever it was that lingered was now fully present, the substance of its being laying bare a tragic narrative woven across time and grief. But just as I steadied my mind to face this confrontation, a sharp pain pulsed through my abdomen, an unmistakable mark left behind, as if something had pressed into me, claiming a portion of my strength. I crouched instinctively as my protective instincts flared, my body responding to an unexplainable threat. "Get away from my baby!" I yelled, trembling from head to toe, both from fear and the visceral urgency to protect my child. Those shadowy figures in the corners swelled, swirling with a storm-like ferocity, revealing glimpses of humanity within their forms. a twisted reflection of longing and never-ending sorrow. I felt my heart racing, and dread clawed at my insides as that unknown cold pressed deeper against my skin like a warning. The shadows tightened around me, prepared to unveil their burden. Voices surged and swelled, a dissonant chorus ringing in my ears, mixing confusion with clarity. Each soft wail pulled at my heartstrings, weaving narratives filled with unresolved grief and lost chances. "We are echoes of what you've lost," they seemed to say. "Listen closely." Then, in a moment of realization turned desperation, I grasped the truth. It wasn't purely a malevolence breathing life into my fears. This entity wasn't claiming, it was warning. I felt that familiar sorrow mingling with resolve, empowering me to confront the unknown even in my most vulnerable state. As clarity began to piecemeal through chaos, I understood the entity's true nature. It sought not harm but hope, a desperate attempt to communicate the dangers that lay ahead. This realization wrapped around me like a warm embrace, and for the first time since stepping into that room, I felt a flicker of courage igniting within the shadows of despair. "The truth is, both of us share a bond with loss," I breathed, determination rising for both me and whatever lingered within those darkened corners. In that moment, I began to accept that perhaps, just perhaps, what was haunting me needed my understanding to reach peace. Yea, even perhaps to save us both. As those shadowy figures swirled around me, I felt a shift in their energy, a deepening of connection that transcended fear. It was a tapestry woven from the threads of grief and longing, revealing to me a profound truth, that I was not alone, even in my darkest moments. The air thickened, heavy with pain, but within that weight, glimmers of understanding emerged. "What do you want me to know?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper, now tempered with empathy rather than dread. In that instant, I sensed their answer ripple through the room, an unspoken symbiosis of emotions flowing between us. Their voices became clearer, a resonating chorus intertwining with my own pain, and I felt tears welling in my eyes as I recognized the shared experiences buried beneath layers of anguish. The room began to shift around me, and memories flooded my mind like a rushing river. Flashes of lost moments, birthdays, laughter, the joyous noise from a home filled with warmth, swirled together, intermingling with the shadows. I realized these echoes weren't seeking to drag me down into despair. They were desperately asking for recognition and understanding. I could see now, behind each spectral form wore the scars of irreversible loss, souls reaching out to me not with malice, but with a hunger to be heard, to share their burdens with someone who understood what it meant to grieve. "Your warnings," I murmured, understanding they were linked to the life I carried. "You need me to understand the dangers to come." Suddenly, the shadows pulled back, parting like a curtain to reveal a gaping maw of darkness just beyond my immediate reach. A sensation akin to a heartbeat echoed in the air, throbbing steadily, reverberating deep within my chest like a muted drum. The coldness slipped away slightly, allowing warmth to seep through, the warmth of shared experiences, of empathy woven tightly around our collective grief. "What lies beyond?" I called out, trembling but resolute as I lifted my gaze toward the shadowy figures. I needed answers. I needed to pierce the veil of uncertainty surrounding the origins of their warnings. Response swept through the room like a cool breeze. Like tendrils of mist, I felt the air pulse with potential, a collision of grief, fate, and fate intertwined. It wasn't a decision to be made lightly. I had to be courageous, to dive further into the darkness I had so long feared. I've faced loss before. I've lost my husband, and now I carry my child. I hesitated, but then I stood firm, gathering my courage. If this is a warning, I will listen. Please, show me. With that plea, the mirage of shadows began to crystallize, forming delicate patterns in the air, each movement a soft whisper that vibrated against my skin. Then came the flashes of images bedazzled within the haze, a fragment of a scene that grabbed hold of my consciousness. I saw a deep river, swirling and turbulent, while a silvery flash of lightning illuminated an almost spectral figure standing along the bank, their anguish mingling with the fury of the storm. Suddenly, a voice broke through the chaos. There are forces at work, unseen but powerful. What you cannot see may harm the life within you. They are drawn to your vulnerability. A sense of urgency flooded through the spirit realm, and I realized just how real the dangers were. "What do you mean?" I gasped, feeling intuition catch fire as fragments of that echoing message burned within my mind. The shadows emanated sorrow, but now I felt the raw essence of determination merging with their grief, an echo of lessons learned from experiences long lost. "Evil seeks out the weak," the resonant voice continued, gravity in every syllable. "Your child is a beacon, and they are drawn to that light. Your sorrow is a bridge they can cross. Protect what is yours fiercely, for darkness will continuously search for its own." I nodded, each word embedding itself into my heart, fortifying my resolve, and I began to understand what I must do to protect my child from unseen dangers. With each heartbeat, I could feel the truth permeating through me, the absolute need to stand strong against forces that sought to take advantage of my grief. "I will guard my child," I affirmed, certainty anchoring my words. "Just as you once sought help to protect those you loved, I will fight to shield mine. I see you now, and I honor your message." The shadows shimmered, their forms transforming into shapes that pulsated with a different light altogether, emanating strength and protection rather than despair. "We are not here to harm," the voice echoed with warmth, a reassurance infusing the space around me. "We only ask that you heed our warnings and embrace the love buried within your grief." And in that moment, I knew that I was not alone. The threads of anguish that had bound me now connected me to something greater, a shared legacy of love, loss, and survival. The shadows, twisted and sorrowful moments ago, began to wrap around me gently like a protective cloak, instilling within me a fierce sense of purpose. "Thank you," I whispered, finally releasing the pent-up weight of my fears. "I will honor your warnings, and in doing so, I will fight for my child." The shadows shimmered in response, a cooperation formed not just in fear, but in hope, a bond between the living and those who had come before me, guiding my way toward a future that would not be marred by regret. Together, we stood at the edge of darkness and light, ready to embrace the journey ahead. I could feel the purification of my spirit as I turned to face whatever lay ahead, fortified by newfound strength and insight, knowing that in acknowledging their sorrow, I had unearthed my own path to healing. With the shadows surrounding me, shimmering like a protective veil, I felt a profound shift within. "What must I do next?" I asked, my voice steady, despite the touch of anxiety lurking beneath the surface. It felt as if I stood at the threshold of a new journey, one both daunting and filled with promise. "We will guide you," the comforting voice echoed, filled with warmth. The shadows pulsated around me in response, confirming their newfound allegiance. I leaned into that connection, my heart steadying as I realized I was not alone in this endeavor. The spirit realm encircled me with purpose, and as I recalled the heartbeat of my unborn child, a fierce resolve ignited within me. Suddenly, the shadows began to shift and morph, forming images that felt uncomfortably familiar. Memories of storms, chaotic winds, and lost souls searching for resolution. My eyes widened as snippets of their anguish flooded my consciousness, revealing a grim legacy rooted in fear and uncertainty. "This is what we must beware of," they urged, anchoring the urgency of their message. With each flicker of vision, I recognized the collective suffering they represented, a history of parents battling unseen forces, struggling to protect the light of their children amidst overwhelming darkness. It became clear, I was being entrusted with a vital legacy of protection. "You must break the cycle," the voice urged. "Bring forth the tools of love and remembrance." The chilling weight of their words sent shivers down my spine as I grasped the magnitude of my role in this narrative. I had to protect my child from the creeping shadows that sought to claim innocence. "How?" I breathed, my voice a trembling whisper, but the shadows were already moving, nudging me toward clarity. "Gather protection from your past," they instructed. The energy in the air shifted, breathing life into my memories. My grandmother's quilt, woven with her care and blessed with love, surged to the forefront of my mind. How many times had she wrapped me in it, insisting it held protective power against the darkness? Those very memories would soon become my armor. "I will find it," I declared, feeling the urgency of the moment surge through me as I stepped toward the attic. Climbing those rickety stairs, I steeled myself against the fears haunting me, knowing that reclaiming my grandmother's quilt would be an act of defiance against the darkness. Once I reached the attic, I found myself surrounded by an array of dusty relics. Each held stories long forgotten. My heart raced while I rummaged through boxes, filled with a sense of urgency spurred by the shadows now pressing closer, awaiting my actions with bated breath. Then I spotted it, my grandmother's quilt nestled beneath layers of dust and memories. It was radiant, intricate, each patch representing love, hope, and protection against life's challenges. "You will guard my child," I murmured, cradling it against my chest. In that moment, it transformed from a mere artifact to a potent shield, intertwining my grandmother's legacy with my own. But I needed more. I recalled the rituals she'd shared with me as a child, rituals designed for protection against the things that lurked in the dark. I closed my eyes, reaching back into the well of my memories, weaving the threads of her teachings into tangible plans. "Come with me," I requested of the shadows, now my allies, partners in my quest to safeguard my child. Together, we focused on collecting every power of protection I could muster: the quilt, the rituals, everything that anchored me to love and strength. As I descended into the living space once more, equipped with the knowledge and tools of protection, I felt a sense of calm envelop me. Perhaps the darkness would come. Perhaps it would try to break through the veil again. But now I stood supported by forces beyond my comprehension, guided by love and a shared history. Taking a deep breath, I steeled myself. "I will face whatever lies ahead," I vowed, feeling the resolve cement inside me. The shadows no longer felt threatening. They stood at my side, a testament to the power of shared courage and wisdom. With the innate strength gathered through heartbreak and finding purpose, I felt keenly aware of the battles to come. The love of my past would empower my fight to protect the future. Together with those shadows, I drew forth the energy of beloved memories, steeling my heart for what was yet to unfold. The coming trials would not only challenge me, but knit together the unresolved fears of countless others who had fought against loss. I stepped into the fragile promise of tomorrow, knowing that my commitment would echo through time, anchoring hope against despair and lighting the way through even the darkest of nights. The next evening, a blanket of silence settled heavily over my home as twilight descended. I had prepared as best I could for the challenges ahead. The quilt rested on the rocking chair in the corner, a sentinel draped in colors that shimmered even in the dim light, reminding me that I wasn't alone. The shadows remained vigilant, their presence a powerful comfort. As night cloaked the world outside, I wrapped myself in the quilt, its warmth wrapping around me like a barrier against the encroaching cold. In that moment, I felt the palpable weight of generations before me echo through every stitch, my grandmother, strong and resolute, standing by my side in spirit. "What do we face tonight?" I whispered, determined yet anxious. The air pulsed with energy, and the shadows began to writhe as if imbued with purpose. "The darkness is restless," A voice emerged, firm yet soothing. It senses the light you hold and draws near. My heart raced at the revelation, anticipation mingling with instinctual fear. Before I could reflect on their warning, a gust of wind erupted from the open window, causing the curtains to ripple violently. A sharp chill coursed through the room, making my skin prickle. The shadows surged forward, swirling around me. "Prepare yourself," they urged, their voices overlapping in urgency. Suddenly, I sensed a shift in the energy. A deep echo vibrated through the walls, an ominous harbinger that sent chills rippling down my spine. I steadied my breath, reinforcing my resolve with each inhale. "I won't let you take what I love," I declared, gripping the fabric of the quilt tighter. "You won't have my child." With that proclamation, shadows began to coalesce into familiar forms, twisting and turning as they entered the periphery of my vision. Wisps of darkness morphed into shapes that flickered between the tangible and the elusive. Shadows of children. Those who had suffered previously, entwined with visions of my ancestors, came forth in a cacophony of whispers. "Hold the light," they cried. "Shield your heart." The room darkened as the temperature plummeted, an overwhelming sense of despair invading my space. My breath turned shallow. Darkness loomed, thick like fog, and the forms of lost souls manifested before me, their features contorted with sorrow. But amidst their anguish, I felt a strong pulse of community. It wasn't just fear, but a symphony of collective grief their energy communicated. "Not today," I shouted, invoking my grandmother's memory, calling forth every ritual I recalled from childhood. "I know how to protect against you. Hear me." The shadows quivered in response, their energy shifting to accommodate the weight of my words. I turned as I concentrated on the quilt, recalling the protective spells woven into family gatherings steeped in history. "Light, please stay. Let the dark not come near," I cried. "Let this quilt gather our love, our stories, our bonds to shield us from despair." In that moment, the quilt shimmered fiercely, radiant energy glowing from its seams. The spectral figures paused, their faces reflecting astonishment mixed with reverence, their sorrow clawing back momentarily. I could feel it. The quilt was awakening, becoming a conduit for all the strength and resilience collected over generations. "No more!" The shadows writhed in frustration, a sinister chorus of whispers rising like a tempest as they recoiled. "You cannot claim what is ours." "Claim?" I challenged, feeling heat radiate around me as my conviction solidified. "I don't want to claim anything but peace and safety for my child." Each word resonated in the air, echoing through the fabric of the quilt as it pushed the shadows back with a wave of warmth and vibrancy. Suddenly, a searing light emanated from the quilt, shooting rays of brilliance against the encroaching darkness, turning its edges to ash. The spectral figures began to dissolve, their anguish giving way to acceptance as they faded back into the corners of the room. "You stand resolute," one whispered, its voice bittersweet. "And in your strength, we find solace as well." As the energy in the room settled, a profound quiet enveloped me. The oppressive darkness lessened, and I felt the comforting embrace of my ancestors through that protective quilt. "You have cast a glimmer of light where it was most needed." The shadows spoke softly, no longer threatening, but resonating with gratitude, an offering of respect in their retreat. "We are all bound by loss, and in your actions, you've created an understanding, a bridge between realms," they whispered, as their energies began to intertwine with the warmth of the quilt. In that moment, clarity washed over me. This battle wouldn't be about defeating the darkness, but nurturing understanding and compassion through that shared grief. It ignited hope, not only for me and my child, but for those lost souls seeking solace in their own suffering. "Thank you," I declared to the lingering echoes, absorbing their wisdom. "I will honor our bond. I will remember your stories." As I gripped the quilt closer, I could feel my heart swell with renewed purpose. Compassion intertwined with courage, the kind that could forge pathways through the darkest nights. From this point onward, I vowed to carry forth the legacy of protection and understanding, to weave light into the fabric of my life and the lives of those who would come after. Together, we had architected a sanctuary, a shared space where love fiercely battled loss, ensuring the light would continue to shine brightly against encroaching shadows. The dawn broke gently, casting warm, golden rays through the windows and wrapping the room in a soft, comforting glow. As I sat wrapped in the quilt, the echoes of last night's confrontation lingered in the air, keeping me grounded. I felt the presence of my ancestors, their unwavering support filling every corner of the room, reminding me that I was never truly alone in this journey. Determined to build on this newfound connection, I sought to deepen my grasp of the rituals my grandmother had taught me. I needed to create a sanctuary, not just for myself, but for my child, a space where love and light could grow amidst the lingering darkness of grief. With a renewed sense of urgency, I set out to gather the remnants of my family's heritage. Each item would serve as a symbol of protection and remembrance. I brushed my fingers over the old copper bowl, remembering how my grandmother used to fill it with herbs fresh from the garden, blending scents that carried warmth and hope. I carefully placed it at the center of the living room floor, creating a makeshift altar. Around it, I arranged dried herbs that still held the essence of summer days past and candles shaped like blooming flowers, each a beacon of resilience and light. As I positioned the items in a circular formation, I could feel the air thickening with purpose. May this space be filled with protection and remembrance, I whispered, closing my eyes and envisioning the strength of my lineage pouring into this sacred circle. The sunlight streamed through the window, illuminating the herbs and casting shadows that danced along the walls. I lit the first candle, its flame flickering to life with a warm glow. May this light guard my child and our home, I breathed, igniting the intentions woven into every fiber of my being. As I lit each candle in succession, I spoke words of hope, each syllable infused with love and memory. With every flicker, may we find peace, I chanted softly, feeling the energy of my family surround me. A gentle breeze flowed through the open window, causing the flames to flicker wildly, yet instead of fear, I felt a surge of excitement. The shadows seemed to coalesce around me, swirling with purpose, as if acknowledging the energy I was manifesting. "We see you," I declared firmly, my heart racing with each word. "We honor you, and we carry your stories forward." As I recited the invocations I had learned as a child, I felt an awakening within, a rise of strength that pushed back against the oppressive silence of the past. "Embrace your stories," I continued, the words echoing through the room. "Honor your ancestors. Remember your roots." The shadows danced along the walls, intertwining with the flickering candlelight, an acknowledgement of our shared history. Suddenly, a chilling draft swept in, sending a shiver down my spine. It was a stark reminder of the darkness that still lurked at the edges, but I held my ground. I could feel the presence hovering near, but instead of fear, I met it with understanding. "You are not my enemy," I spoke aloud, my voice steady. "I will not fear you. I will remember your pain, too." Silence enveloped the room, and I felt a shift in the shadows, transitioning from ominous to curious. "We are bound," one voice echoed gently, filled with a sorrow that resonated deep within my soul. "But in your remembrance, there can be peace." The connection was evident. These spirits were not malevolent, but rather victims of their own stories, their pain intertwined with mine. I felt a profound sense of empowerment wash over me. This journey was less about battling darkness and more about weaving a tapestry of connection and understanding. "I honor you," I said, clutching the quilt tightly to my chest. our stories will serve as bridges, allowing us all to heal. With each flicker of candlelight, I envisioned a future where my child would thrive within these walls, surrounded by love and safeguarded by the energy of our shared lineage. This sanctuary would not merely keep the darkness at bay, it would allow the light of our collective memories to illuminate paths for those who wandered too far into despair. As the shadows began to retreat further, the candles burned steadily, radiating warmth and reassurance. I smiled, knowing this wasn't an end but a beginning, a commitment to carry forth the legacies of love and grief, transforming them into a nurturing light that could guide others. I envisioned what lay ahead, a home filled with laughter, love, and understanding, where stories of the past, both joyous and painful, would intertwine to form a rich tapestry of life. I vowed to nurture this legacy, to teach my child the importance of remembering those who came before us, recognizing their struggles, and inviting them to live alongside us as guardians rather than ghosts. As the final shadows retreated, I embraced the quilt, feeling its warmth seep into my very bones. It was now more than just an artifact. It was a living entity, carrying the essence of strength and comfort from those who had loved and lost before me. In that moment, I understood. The triumph that surged within me was not just for myself. It was for every soul who longed for peace, for every story that yearned to be told. The darkness would always exist, but with the light of love and the wisdom of remembrance, we could forge pathways through it, illuminating the way for those who had once felt lost in despair. Together, we would transform fear into strength, uniting in our shared journey of healing. With the morning sun spilling into my home, I felt a renewed sense of purpose wash over me. The previous night's revelations echoed in my heart, grounding me in the belief that the threads of our stories wove a fabric strong enough to withstand the harshest storms. I resolved to honor the sacred bond between the living and the spirits of the past, intending to create a space not just for my child, but for all those seeking refuge from the darkness. As I took a moment to reflect, I glanced around the room, taking in the flickering candles and the gentle sway of the quilt that had shielded me from fear. The air crackled with an energy I had never felt before, a potent reminder of my connection to ancestral wisdom and the power that resided within it. Today would be more than just another ordinary day. It was the dawn of a new beginning. I called my daughter Mia, who was still peacefully sleeping in her room. Her soft breaths filled the air with innocence that I cherished deeply. I tiptoed in, careful not to disturb her dreams. As I watched her, I felt a swell of protective love, a mother's instinct that surged through me, fierce and unwavering. In her presence, I tasted the bittersweet flavor of hope, a future filled with laughter and joy unmarred by sorrow. "Mia, it's time to wake up, sweetheart," I whispered gently, stroking her hair. She stirred, blinking sleepily at me, her eyes brightening as she recognized my presence. "Is it morning already, Mommy?" she asked, her voice laced with curiosity. "Yes, and we have some work to do today. Are you ready for a little adventure?" I smiled, delighting in the way her face lit up at the prospect. "What kind of adventure?" she replied, stretching her arms above her head. "A very special one," I said, gathering my courage. "Today, we're going to honor the stories of those who came before us, our family and their journeys." Mia's eyes widened with wonder, echoing the depths of my heart. "Like Grandma?" she asked innocently. "Exactly, my love," I replied, kneeling beside her. "We're going to celebrate her and our history, ensuring that her spirit lives on in us." After breakfast, we set up the living room as a makeshift altar, gathering items that held sentiment. Photos of Grandma, dried flowers Mia had picked from our garden, and a cherished book filled with family stories passed down through generations. Each object resonated with joy, loss, laughter, and tears, a poignant reminder of the lives lived and the love shared. I want to tell a story about Grandma, Mia declared, her voice steady with conviction. It should be about the flowers she loved and all the magic we can create with them. Her enthusiasm fueled my own, and together we decorated the space, arranging the flowers in delicate patterns around the candles. The air filled with the sweet scent of earth and blooming life, weaving a tapestry of connection that seemed to reach beyond the material world itself. As we settled down on the floor, I took a deep breath, guiding Mia through the process of honoring our ancestors. When we share their stories, we remind ourselves of where we come from, I explained. These memories keep their spirits alive and show us the strength we carry within ourselves. Mia listened intently, her eyes gleaming with interest. Like how Grandma used to say that plants could hear us, or that she would sing to them when she watered them. Exactly, I encouraged, recalling fond memories of my mother's laughter and the warmth she spread like sunlight through the darkest days. Grandma believed that by nurturing these plants, she was also carrying on her love for us. Today, we're going to do the same. As we shared memories about Grandma, the flickering candlelight shimmered with an ethereal glow, casting dancing shadows that intertwined around us, creating a protective circle. The atmosphere shifted, growing thicker with warmth, as if the spirits of our ancestors had come to join us, listening with bated breath. Mia took the lead, her youthful spirit shining. When I was little, Grandma taught me how to plant seeds, saying they were like little wishes waiting to grow. She continued, her voice ringing with excitement. And at night, when I couldn't sleep, she told me stories about the stars and how they were the lights of our loved ones. I nodded, tears pricking at the corners of my eyes. I had been so lost in the fear of loss that I had overlooked the beauty of these shared moments, the connections that bridged our hearts across time. Those stories are treasures, Mia. Each one holds pieces of our family's heart. By keeping them alive, we honor their spirits and remind ourselves of our own strength. Just then, a sudden chill swept through the room, a tangible reminder of the boundaries between worlds. I looked toward the open window, sensing a shift in the air without fear. Instead, I felt the undeniable presence of my grandmother, wrapping us in her warmth as a gentle gust of wind rustled the leaves outside. "Can you feel her?" I asked, glancing at Mia. She nodded, eyes wide with wonder, as she lifted her small hand and whispered as if speaking to the air. "Hi, Grandma. We're honoring your flower magic today." The candle flames danced wildly, flickering in response, and the warmth of the moment enveloped us both. A wave of gratitude filled my heart, and I squeezed Mia's hand. Together, we bring light to their stories, and in that light, we find strength, I whispered, my voice barely above a breath. As we continued sharing memories and weaving stories, I knew this journey was not about erasing pain, but about cherishing every essence of the love that birthed it. In that shared storytelling, we forged not just pathways for healing, but also alliances across time, an unbreakable bond that would transcend the trivialities of life, intertwining our spirits in a vibrant dance of light and remembrance. In this sacred circle, we flourished. We transformed our understanding of grief into a wellspring of strength, love glowing brightly within the fabric of our lives, illuminating the way for souls that dared to remember. Through honoring our past, we wove together a tapestry of hope, the guiding light through our shared journey of healing. As the last of the candle flames flickered before settling into a gentle glow, the atmosphere transformed around us. Warmth enveloped the room, carrying whispers of love and the soft echoes of our ancestors' laughter. I could sense a profound shift, an invitation for deeper understanding and connection. My heart raced, struck by the realization that we were not simply honoring the past, but ushering it into the present. "Mia," I said softly, "look around us. This energy, this warmth, isn't just here for us. It's a bridge that connects our hearts across time. We are part of something far greater than ourselves." She gazed around, her innocent eyes sparkling with reverence. "I can almost hear them," she murmured, "like they are laughing with us." "And they are indeed," I replied, feeling the vibrant pulse of life in the atmosphere. Every moment we share the stories, we've invited them into this space. They are living on in our words, laughter, and love. As we closed our eyes, I felt a deeper call, a need to reach out beyond the confines of our sanctuary. "Let us send this light," I proposed, "out into the world, to those who may need it most. Let's share the warmth and wisdom we've felt this day." With Mia nestled beside me, we envisioned the light emanating from our hearts, spreading to others, binding us in an unbroken chain of love and healing. The very air around us shifted, as if allowing our love to expand beyond our walls, reaching into the hearts of those who were struggling, longing for connection. "Imagine all the other places where people feel lost or alone," I encouraged. "Picture the light from our stories reaching them, wrapping around their hearts as a reminder that they are not alone. They too can find strength and healing." As I spoke, the shadows that once haunted our home receded further, transforming into shapes of reassurance, figures of our ancestors nodding in agreement, illuminating the path to healing that lay before us. This exchange shifted my understanding of grief once more. It wasn't simply a burden, but a shared experience, a reminder that we were never truly separate from those we loved. "Look, Mia," I said as she stirred, her face aglow with the affection of the moment. "Their spirits are here with us, encouraging us to remember, to speak, to shine." Then came a soft yet powerful breeze stirring through the room, brushing against our cheeks with the comfort of a familiar embrace. It felt as though my grandmother herself was there, affirming our connection. My heart swelled. I could almost hear her voice carrying through the rustling leaves, urging us forward. "Mia, let your voice be heard. Share a story, my love," I urged, and took her small hand in mine. Mia pondered for a moment, her brow furrowing with thought. "I remember the time Grandma took me to the garden. She showed me how to plant seeds and said we should talk to them as they grow. She said they would listen." "That's right," I gasped, overwhelmed with joy as her words stirred memories within me. She believed in the magic of life, the belief that we could nurture not just the plants, but also our own dreams. Mia continued, her voice growing more confident. "She told me that every flower had a story we needed to unravel to see its beauty, just like us." As she spoke, the air hummed with understanding, a realization penetrating my heart. I recognized that generations before had faced their own darkness, and yet through the telling of their stories, seeds of resilience continued to bloom. In that moment, I understood that while the past would always hold shadows, together we had transformed those moments of sorrow into seeds for the future. Mia's innocence breathed life into our shared journey. She was a living testament to the legacy of love, nurturing the connections that bound us together. A smile danced across my lips, knowing that for each tear we shed, we also celebrated laughter and hope. "And remember," I added softly, "we're always growing, weaving new stories while holding on to the threads of those who came before us." Together, we breathed in that sacred space, feeling the pulse of time intertwining our spirits. The lessons of the past lived on in us like the blooms in the garden, rich with wisdom and promise. And as the light continued to illuminate our lives, I knew that we had become conduits of healing, lights for those who still wandered in darkness, encouraging them to tell their stories, to blossom in the warmth of love and remembrance. The journey was ours, but it also belonged to every soul yearning for connection. And in that truth, we found our purpose. The tapestry of our lives would remain vibrant, woven with love, grief, and the relentless hope that shone eternally within our hearts. As we sat in that circle of warmth and connection, a realization dawned on me. It was time to share this journey with others and to let its light reach beyond the walls of our home. I envisioned a gathering, a space where stories could be shared, where the power of memory could forge connections, not just between living and lost souls, but among the living as well. "What do you think, Mia?" I asked her, the seeds of an idea germinating in my mind. "What if we invited our friends over for a garden celebration? We could tell stories about our loved ones and create a space for everyone to honor their special memories." Her eyes sparkled with excitement. "Can we tell Grandma's stories too? And what about the flowers we'll plant?" "Absolutely. We'll plant something beautiful together. It will be our way of remembering and celebrating those we love." The prospect filled me with gratitude and hope, a chance to spread our healing beyond the confines of our living room. Together, we spent the following days preparing for the gathering, transforming our home and garden into a sanctuary of storytelling and remembrance. We picked out colorful flowers that would bloom brightly, an assortment that symbolized different aspects of our lineage and histories: roses for love, daisies for innocence, and marigolds for resilience. As I watched Mia dig and plant each bulb in the soil, I felt a sense of purpose radiating from her. She was not just planting flowers. She was sowing the seeds of connection and healing for our friends and neighbors. As the day of the gathering approached, we decorated the yard with twinkling lights and handcrafted signs, inviting everyone to share your story. We set up an area with blankets and cushions, creating comfort to encourage open hearts and voices. The air buzzed with anticipation, a fragrant mixture of freshly planted flowers and a gentle summer breeze. The day finally arrived, and friends filled our yard, laughter mingling with the rustling leaves. Each person brought a dish infused with love, treats that held cherished memories of their own. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a golden glow over the gathering, I felt the palpable energy of shared stories ready to unfold. To kick off the celebration, I gathered everyone in a circle. Mia nestled beside me, her small hand clasped tightly in mine. "Thank you all for coming," I began, my heart swelling at the faces around me. Friends, neighbors, each carrying their own histories. Today, we honor the ones we've loved and lost, the stories that have shaped us, and the connections that bind us together in this beautiful tapestry of life. Mia spoke, her voice clear and confident. "My grandma taught me that every flower has a story, just like every person." She gestured to the newly planted blooms. "And today, we're planting stories." Her enthusiasm was infectious. One by one, people began to share their tales. An elderly neighbor recounted memories of her husband's favorite fishing spot. A family friend spoke about his grandmother's quilt sorting traditions that brought loved ones together every winter. And a couple shared how they honored their late child by planting a tree in his memory. As each story was told, I felt the wounds of grief being soothed, turning into laughter and tears of joy. We intertwined the past and the present in that sacred space, transforming sorrow into an embrace of understanding. "I never thought I could feel so close to my dad again," one friend murmured, their eyes shimmering with emotion. "That's the power of our stories," I replied, feeling a swell of warmth wash over me. "They are alive, connecting us to those we've lost. In their memories, they are never truly gone." The gathering unfolded seamlessly, healing threads woven through laughter, shared tears, and the vibrant energy exchanged between us all. And as the sun began to dip below the horizon, I noticed the shadows lessening, replaced with a profound sense of clarity and belonging. As we made our way to the garden, I led everyone to the rows of flowers we had planted together. With a shared breath, we each took a moment to acknowledge the blooms, silent testimonies to our loved ones, and the stories that echoed against the backdrop of time. "I want to say thank you," she said, standing tall amidst the crowd. "Thank you for sharing your stories. We are all part of each other's flowers, and that makes us really special." With that, the people around us began to applaud, their hearts resonating in gratitude and family, a reminder that in the tapestry of life, no one strand stands alone. As the twilight deepened around us, I felt the presence of our ancestors filling the space. I knew they were smiling upon us, proud of the legacy of connection and love that had endured all the trials of life. This gathering was just the beginning of our shared journey, the seeds of hope sown beneath the soil of our hearts, ready to blossom into the future. With arms folded around each other, we became a living embodiment of healing, weaving a mosaic of stories that transcended time. We were a testament to love and loss, transformed from shadows into a vibrant garden glowing with the light of remembrance and hope. As the gathering drew to a close and the last of the laughter faded into the night, I felt a comforting peace settle over us like a warm blanket. The once vibrant sky dimmed into deep indigo, the stars twinkling above like echoes of our shared love stories, reminders that we are all interconnected in this vast universe. With the remnants of the gathering still stirring in the air, I turned to Mia, who sat gazing at the darkening sky, her expression thoughtful and serene. "Do you think Grandma is here with us?" she asked, the innocence of her voice as soothing as a lullaby. "I believe she is," I replied softly, kneeling down to her level. "I think she feels every bit of the love we shared today, just like her flowers blooming in our garden." Mia reached out and traced her fingers over the petals of the freshly planted blooms, each one standing as a testament to the stories we had exchanged. A living memorial to our loved ones. "It's like she's part of the garden now," she mused, her eyes sparkling with understanding. "Exactly. And as long as we continue to tell our stories, she will always be alive in our hearts and in the world around us," I encouraged, filled with gratitude for the moments we had just experienced. This profound lesson was not just mine to carry. This was ours, a celebration of the connections we had forged. As we turned to leave the garden, I caught sight of my neighbor, the elderly man who had shared tales of his wife, Anna. He lingered, still gazing thoughtfully at the flowers. "Can I tell you something?" he asked, his voice soft but clear. "Of course," I replied, encouraging him to share. "I never realized how important it was to remember," he continued, his gaze turning to the flowers with a distant wistfulness. "I've spent years keeping everything bottled up, thinking it was too painful. But today, being here with everyone, I felt something I haven't felt in years. The warmth of good memories. It made me feel alive again." Tears brimmed in his eyes, and my heart ached for him. "That's the healing power of sharing," I said gently. "You've given yourself permission to remember, to connect. You're not alone in your grief. We're all here together." The man smiled, a glimmer of hope evident in his expression. "Now I think I'll tell my grandkids about Anna and the adventures we had. I want them to know her too." Mia beamed, her youthful energy radiant. "You should tell them how she used to make the best pie," she chimed in. With a chuckle, he nodded. "That sounds like a plan I can get behind." As he walked away, I felt my heart swell with pride. Each shared story was a brick laid in a bridge that connected lives, an enduring testament to love that survived even the harshest storms. Eventually, the gathering began to disperse, friends and neighbors bidding farewell, fueled by a new appreciation for the power of remembrance. I exchanged hugs, hearts full of connection, understanding we were all part of this vast network of love and grief woven together. Then I turned to Mia, whose eyes sparkled with wonder, absorbing everything that had just transpired. "You know," I said, kneeling beside her, "you played a big part in making today special. You showed everyone that love can bridge any gap." She smiled shyly, the weight of the day settling in as she reflected. "I just wanted to help," she said. "It felt really nice to hear everyone's stories." "It was beautiful," I agreed, wrapping my arm around her small shoulders. "And now we get to keep honoring our loved ones, telling their stories as we grow, just like those flowers. As the night deepened and the stars twinkled overhead, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude, not just for the stories shared, but for the lessons they imparted. We were alive, breathing vessels of love, carrying forward the legacies of those who came before us. My gaze shifted to the horizon, where the moon painted silver streaks across the sky, illuminating the garden as if wrapping it in a blanket of peace. "Mia," I whispered, "this garden will grow, just like our memories, and every time we come here, we'll be reminded of the love that remains eternal." She nodded, eyes dreamy with possibility. "And we can always make new stories too." "Yes, we can. Together, we will create beautiful new memories to honor the past." As we made our way back into the house, I glanced behind us at the blossoms basking in the moonlight, flowers heavy with the weight of hopeful stories. They were not just plants rooted in soil. They were living chronicles that encapsulated the beauty of connection, love, and the endless cycle of life. This shared journey was far from over. It was merely a chapter in our ongoing narrative, the threads of love and memory intertwining, guiding us gently through the darkness while lighting the way to a radiant future filled with possibility.